This is the Business Owners IT Podcast with Anthony Gerasch and Ryan Carter, where tomorrow's technology meets today's conversation.
Hi, I'm Tony Gerasch.
And I'm Ryan Carter, and this is the Business Owners IT Podcast.
A podcast where we discuss tips, tricks, and solutions for business owners involving all things tech.
All right, so we usually let's dive right into the weekly review. This time we're going to talk a little bit about Windows 10 and its end of life, and maybe as a business owner, what you should start looking at doing if you haven't started making plans already. But before I get started, I want to bring up that IT people like to complain. You might not know it because we come with a smile on our face every day and get the job done and get everything working. But from the very beginning, when Microsoft wanted us to switch from XP to Windows 11, everybody complained, or Windows 7. Then everyone started loving Windows 7. Then they decided, let's go from Windows 7 to Windows 10. Everyone complained. Now we're going from 10 to 11. IT people are complaining about Windows 10 to 11. So, Tony, why don't you go ahead and complain for us and tell us what you don't like about Windows 11?
Yeah, there we go. So, I'm using a Windows 11 computer, and it's different. I mean, it's like if you don't have internet, you're on a plane or something like that, the thing just bogs down. It's like everything's trying to go out to the internet. You can't find stuff on it. I hate it. There's multiple things that. The only thing I really like about the only compliment that I have is I like the Windows Explorer, the ability to have tabs for your files. So when you work at multiple directories or multiple file folders, you can have that. But other than that, I mean, everything's been switched around. Same operating system. I can't find anything. Things I used to make real easy to get are somewhere else. I think they took away the printer stuff. Like, it's hard to focus on fixing printers because it's not in the control panel anymore, right? It's you got to use their thing. So, but it's Microsoft, right? And they have a monopoly, and we're not going to have a choice. We have to upgrade.
Oh yeah, I switched to Windows 11 almost shortly after it came out because I like to test things, before we give it out to our clients. And I just switched to Mac after that. So
yeah, he's using the Mac. See? Oh my God. Yeah,
I have other reasons for switching to Mac, but yeah, Windows 11 was painful then, and then just recently they came out with a new update that's been really painful for some of the security stuff. So, I mean, we're just gonna have to trials and tribulations and get through it, and that's why you have a managed service provider to help you guys get through it. So,
yeah, I noticed that there were some tickets around Windows 11. What are some of the problems the techs are having with Windows 11 when either whether it's an upgrade or a new install?
The biggest one is the latest update. It had a lot of problems with VPN clients. And it came down to the part where we had to physically code into the VPN client itself to get it to work with Windows 11. I know they're coming out with better firmwares to fix it, so that's just how it goes. But that was one of our major ticket problems was that. Other things are just people switching and UI problems, just learning where their stuff is and, in OneDrive and all that just tears right through Windows 11. But it does work.
Yeah. So when is the official end date for it?
We are looking at October 14th of 2025.
Yeah. So what that means is, after that date, there will be no more security updates or bug fixes for Microsoft Windows 10, right? And systems running Windows 10 will become increasingly more vulnerable as time goes on, just like Windows 7. Before that, Windows XP. I guess there was Windows Vista somewhere in there too.
That one got skipped.
Yeah, a lot of them got skipped. But the idea is it's going to become end of life, and there's not going to be any more security updates.
Yep, and it'll become a problem more and more. As newer software comes out, it just won't work with Windows 10, and it's just going to be made for Windows 11. So your computers will get slower. So the time is now to think about your upgrades. And one thing too is you can't just go from Windows 10 to Windows 11 without knowing if your hardware meets the requirements for Windows 11, and there's things involved, the processor size needs to be, let's see if you guys know this, business owners, 1 gigahertz or faster. The RAM needs to be 4 gigs or more. Storage, 64 gigs or larger. You need a TPM module. Your graphics card needs to be compatible with DirectX. Your display, you need a high-def display of 720p or higher. And that's why I bring this up that, you might need a trusted provider to help you know if your computer can be upgraded to Windows 10 to Windows 11. But the good news is, right, Tony, if your computer is available to go from Windows 10 to Windows 11, what's the cost?
Yeah, actually, it's a free upgrade as long as you have a license, right? So In the past, right, when you went to Windows XP to 7, you had to buy the upgrade license, and from 7 to 10, I think you had to buy the upgrade license. Or they might have started letting you upgrade on Windows 7. But yeah, it's as long as you have a valid license, there's no upgrade charge, just labor.
Yep, valid license. PC meets those requirements, and again, we in one of our previous episodes we talked about our QBRs where we bring up your hardware lifecycle report, and that's where this comes into play. Knowing if those computers need to be upgraded, and what you need to do to go up to Windows 11. The time is short between now and then. We've got quite a bit of clients that still are on Windows 10, so we've got some work to do on our side too.
Yeah, but could you imagine? It says the minimum requirement says 4 gig of RAM. Could you imagine? I mean, I have experience with this, but trying to run a computer with 4 gig, Windows 11 with 4 gig of RAM.
Ain't happening.
Oh my God, it's just not going to happen. So yeah, it's yeah. So I would recommend that you at least have 16 gig of RAM, 8 at minimum. But I mean, most of the things we're trying to get people up to 16 gig of RAM.
Yeah, easily you need to be at 16 gigs of RAM. That 1 gigahertz processor, not going to cut it. With 2 or more cores, you need at least 4 cores. You're going to go with we're pushing the i7 processor now. Yeah. We want to get longevity out of your computer too. You don't want it just for a couple of years. We want to try to squeeze for 5 years out of it, sometimes maybe 7.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know, if you're a do-it-yourself type of person and you're going to try to do the upgrades, you just have to do some research on the internet and make sure that your computer meets the requirements so that you don't upgrade and then all of a sudden it doesn't work and now you're stuck with a brick. Or for our customers, we're going to do these upgrades as part of the managed services we provide. So we're going to start, all new computers are now being, deployed Windows 11, but we're also starting to upgrade, computers to Windows 11 that are Windows 10, but also during that process, making sure that nothing breaks, that, some of our customers have like AutoCAD and some other stuff just to make sure that the software that we're using doesn't break.
Yeah, or just to make sure the file system's right before we do it so that it doesn't erase files that you may need, documents that you've saved. So, yeah.
And the other thing, there's still, regularly, I'm meeting with new customers and doing security assessments for my existing customers and doing IT reviews for my customers. And, we still have a lot of 2016 and 2019 servers out there too. So, 2016 server, last time it was supported was January 11, 2022. So, we need to start looking at upgrading those too, those older servers that are out there for businesses. And then 2019 is supposed to end in January 9th. The mainstream has already ended in January 9th, 2024, but extended is until January 9th, 2029. And what extended support means is that you're just going to get security updates, no feature updates, or no fixes for things that are broken.
Yeah, and I hate to toot our own horn here, but we've got that server game down. I feel that we're able to get these done while people are working, and it very minimal impact on production anymore. I mean, we got a pretty good team that does the servers, so reaching out and asking, we definitely can give you some pointers. We're good for that, but I think we got it. Yeah,
I think since the introduction of 2019 and 2016, that the servers have become a lot more stable than the previous versions.
No, I agree.
We don't get as many issues with them as we did. I know that we're starting to deploy. Is it 2025 or 2024?
I don't know.
I think it's 2025. But I'm not 100% sure on that. But I know that we're starting to quote the later licenses.
Yeah. Yep. And we did deploy a few of those already. Right. I just can't remember what it is right now.
All right. So
that does bring me into the tip of the week, right? Yep. So for you business owners, the time is now. You got to start thinking about doing it if you haven't already. Reach out. We'll help you out. We're just, that's what we're here for. And again, the time is now to get Windows 10 upgraded to Windows 11. It's not hard to do, but it may just take a little bit of time.
Yeah, and there might be some stuff that gets broken too that needs to be fixed.
Yeah, we won't complain in front of you though. Trust me.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay, well, that's all I have. So I'd like to thank you for tuning into the Business Owners IT Podcast, and we hope to see you next week.
Yep, and you got to see a little bit of John today. Hopefully you got to see his sweet jorts. They're looking great. Good job, John, and thanks for all your hard work. And again, we'll see you next week. Thank you.
Unique Computing Solutions. Your IT challenges solved.